Hi, everyone. I'm Yvonne Ravad. I'm a career and leadership consultant, and I help people land new jobs or create new next chapters in their life. And I'm super excited to talk with Neela today.
Yeah, and
And
I'm so grateful to be with you, Yvonne. For those of people that don't know me, I'm Neela Gohil. I'm a love and relationship coach, and I help people to experience more love and connection in their lives.
Awesome. Love it. Okay. So you have lots of questions. So I'm going to let you start with a couple questions we might want to talk about that would be interesting to everyone.
Yeah, so obviously you're a career coach. In my line of work, I come across many women, specifically ambitious women, and they want to, find the man of their life, their love of their life. And quite often the reason they don't get there is because they're too focused on their career or they're too masculine in their energy. And, I just want to, let me just say firstly, I believe, you know, a lot of people place the emphasis on their career. And whilst that's really important, what if people could also, prioritize their love life? And I just wanted to hear from you, what's your thoughts on this?
Right. So my thoughts on this are we all have to prioritize what's important to us, and we get to make those choices every day. So I think when it comes to career, if your career is so important that you're willing to give up everything else around you for that, that's a decision you're making. And I don't know if that is ultimately the best decision for for a person's joy and health and fabulous life that everyone wants to live. So I think it's good to challenge that. And when it comes to your career, I mean, I think there are times in our career where we do sacrifice or give up certain things and really, maybe not have as much of one thing as we might have as another, but we also want to be conscious and intentional with that time. So it's really a matter of crafting the vision for your work and your love life and your relationships, and then communicating and talking and learning and growing to make that happen on a daily basis.
Yeah, and I think it's really, spot on what you said. But then I don't believe that we should have to sacrifice anything, when it comes to our career.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah, and
that's
I'm just going to share a little story because when I was married, this was years ago, I felt a lot of pressure to do that. In fact, because I was in a very successful corporate job, I was traveling, and yet I didn't have the support of my partner. Whilst I wanted to excel in my career and travel and everything, he didn't really understand what I was all about. And I think that led to a lot of conflict in the relationship. So I just feel it's good to have that support of a partner. But then looking back now, I realize I could have given myself more support and more self-love in that area.
No, that's a great story, Neela. And I hear exactly what you're saying. And maybe the word sacrifice isn't the right word. Maybe it's compromise would be the better word to consider, because I'll give you an example. I know a couple who they live in different places Monday through Friday, and they get together on the weekends, and they have an awesome relationship because they have really strong communication. They're still supporting each other, and they just know at this time, for this window of time, and it could be a year or two, because of where each of them are in their career, these are things that they're doing, but they still have a super strong relationship.
And
So
that's
it's a
fantastic, yeah, to hear that because I know a lot of people right now, with the increase of artificial intelligence and all of these, new technologies, things are getting fast. People are worried about their careers, in fact. So sometimes, I know if you're in a relationship or you're thinking of getting into a relationship, but actually you do need to make a living, you need a successful career. So, obviously you've had people approach you around career. What are some of the things you would say that are on people's minds right now?
Well, I think what you brought up is all very true. I do think people are worried about what will happen in AI, and it's definitely true that AI will replace some jobs and there'll be lots of new jobs. So I think one of the best ways to navigate any career or even life uh, challenges or opportunities, depending on how you want to look at things, is to just kind of stay grounded and know that there's always going to be some uncertainty, and we still want to take action and do the things that we need to do or want to do to achieve goals or to excel in our work, and also to prioritize our love life and relationships. So I think it's a matter of coming from a place of wholeness in the whole process, and not from a place of lack and want, that allows you to have one of the key words that's important in your career is your alignment. When we're in alignment with the work that we're doing and it suits our natural tendencies and our being, it's a lot more fun and a lot more enjoyable for us and for those around us. There's less stress. We're able to handle the conflict and the things that come up on a regular basis at a different level than when we're already not grounded. So,
And I love that, the word alignment. And this is what I even tell people that I've worked with. It's like, if you don't know your own values, you're not in alignment with those, and you're not in alignment with somebody who you can create that lifestyle with, or you have that vision even to, if that's not them, then don't go for it. Because then
right.
the relationship is not going to be successful. They're not going to really understand you, and it, like you say, it can bring up stress, and it's all
Right.
about balance. So the way to balance it is to actually know firsthand what's important to you, and then share that with somebody who's equally able to be in that space with you and to understand that, because then it makes things easier.
Mhm. Mhm. That's definitely true. Well, let me ask you about relationships and careers. Like, what do you think is a key thing from the relationship perspective for someone when it comes to that balance?
Yeah, so I've known people that have been in relationships, including myself, where if you are with somebody that's not so supportive of your career or doesn't understand you, it all boils down to conversation, being, really being able to express your needs so that you are coming from a place of openness, because I think a lot of people fear, I will lose this relationship if I rock the boat, if I don't tell my truth. And, I'm just going to tell a story. I was dating a doctor, some time ago. And obviously, doctors are busy people, right? Yet I think it's a myth that certain occupations don't have time for love, because he certainly made time for love. All I'm saying is it's a matter of prioritizing. Just like you would prioritize your career, you'd go to work, you have a time, set a schedule, a time where you are together in the relationship, and switch off your phone, I would say. This is going to make for a fabulous relationship. And be there with each other whilst you can, talk about work and everything. It's shouldn't be the basis of your relationship. A relationship is not just about how are we making money, how are you doing in your work life. I mean, it should be more about the romance and getting that intimacy and that connection back. Otherwise, I think a relationship lacks that intimacy over time. And it can also lead to jealousy if you're not careful. I've had a client recently where she said, her partner was absolutely jealous of her. She was an ambitious professional, earning much more money than him. And for her, it was really tough because she really loves the guy. But I think eventually that relationship did break down. And then she came to me and she said, I don't know what's wrong. I'm successful and I feel like I'm pushing men away. But then we worked on her self-care, her self-love, and she was able to understand that actually she was with the wrong partner.
Right.
She needed to look outside of herself. And then luckily she's dating now. So she's on her way, to finding
I
love.
love it. That's great. That's great. Well, I think it's again that self-awareness that is so valuable in any kind of transformation or change if things aren't already working. And some people are very aligned. They have kind of principles and practices that they've discovered and found at a certain time, and that's awesome. And some people really need some help clarifying their objectives and their goals, and and it could be their goals in love and their goals in work. And then what does that look like? And then how do you achieve it? And what jobs do you go for? And so part of the role as a career consultant is helping to get through that work, and then also taking the action to actually be seen and get interviewed and get hired for the jobs that really are the right job for a person at that time in their life. And it varies. Like, I'm a mom, I have kids. There were times in my work where I didn't want to work full time. I needed some flexibility. I wanted to be more present for my kids and have some flexibility. And so I made some choices, and a lot of people don't make that choice, and that's fine, whichever way you do it. Plenty of people make it work with their relationship, and they have a partner, and they tag team on kids and life. And so it's variable, and everyone gets to choose how that works. And if you have when you have a partner, or if you want a partner, you want to include that person, and you really want to have some of those tough conversations to make it work.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful that you shared that, because it should be like you're working as a team. It shouldn't be like one person's bringing in the income
Mhm.
and the other one's kind of passively sitting there. I mean, I believe it should be joint, and I don't think women should feel bad, if they want to make a conscious choice that they don't even want to work, they want to just bring up the kids. I don't think there should be
Mhm.
pressure on a
Right.
woman, because really a man's, you know a role really is to provide and protect.
Yeah.
That's what I feel. And I know, we've kind of gone into this future where women are kind of more successful even now, and they're earning more money than their partners. The roles
Yes.
have really switched. If you look,
Yes.
so I think it's just about a different mindset, isn't it? Looking at relationships differently,
Mhm.
not from a male female perspective, but from a teamwork.
Yes,
You know?
partnership, absolutely. And it's true, there are plenty of stay-at-home dads, and there are plenty of dads who are serving in a traditionally mom role, and that's fine. I think there that's awesome. I do feel like there needs to be some alignment on, everyone living their best potential, though. Like, I think, sometimes we think we have to do something, and we may not really have to do something. Maybe we can have that, like, it's very easy for people to put up roadblocks on things, and sometimes we want to challenge that and look beyond that, because we don't have to do things a certain way. So that's just part of the joy of using sometimes a consultant or a relationship coach like you to help navigate those instances in our life where things aren't exactly like we want them to be.
Yeah, and that's what I love, because like you, I've got a process, you've got a process. When you're looking for a job or career change, it's nice to have somebody to take you through that, hold your hand and get some clarity on what it is you're looking for. In the same way, that's how I help my clients. It's a step by
Mhm,
step hand-holding approach, because sometimes we just need somebody to give us a nudge, or to put us in that right direction,
mhm.
because we are human beings. We have
Yeah.
emotions, we have
Mhm.
limiting beliefs, patterns that we may even need to work through
Yeah.
before getting that relationship. Or perhaps in your case, you have people come to you that they have, like you say, roadblocks, and they just need somebody to help them navigate the map.
Right. Right. Well, I mean, there's definitely a lot of traditional paths, and those are great. And often people who are in those traditional paths, they're everything is very status quo. Everything is good, but sometimes things happen. If we're working for a company can have business impacts that cause them to lay someone off, and then that whole path that you had, that you were living and working, is now not there anymore. So how do you move on to the next path in a efficient and grounded, calm way? And that's like, it's definitely different. I mean, losing a job, losing a relationship, those are really big impacts in our psyche, in our life, and we want to get help to navigate through that often. Some
Yeah.
people don't need it, but most people do.
And I'm so glad you mentioned that, because even I remember when I was in the corporate world, it started become very much virtual working at home. Although you had a team in the office, sometimes you felt very alone in the whole process.
Right.
And I know a lot more people are going out there now, they're self-employed, so I think it's really important, relationships are changing. Even I'm not even talking about romantic now, but even if you think about your career and work,
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
work relationships, if we need to know how to communicate, how to love ourselves, how to ask for our needs to be met.
Right.
It's the
Right.
same thing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's interesting. There's such a parallel there because when we're in a relationship, if we're not asking for what we need to feel fulfilled and loved, it's the same thing as if we're in a career and a job where we're not asking for what we need and putting that out there. And when we are afraid to put that out there, or when we're not even sure what that is, it can lead to a lot of discontent and just dissatisfaction, and we can self-sabotage and we can do all kinds of things that in the end don't probably serve our greater good. And so how do we become aware of that and get help? Maybe getting more practice at doing that, like speaking our mind and asking for what we need and still being open to what we can, how to make it work with our company or with our spouse or our partner or our lover, whoever it is, right? How do we make that work?
Yeah, and this is beautiful, and this is what I think our work is all about. How do we do that? And I know, I feel so grateful that I get to work with people like this every single day, where I really help them shine a light on what's going on, where are you now? Where do you want to get to? And, just talking through some of those things that they may not be able to talk to with a partner or, somebody at work.
Mhm.
This has been a fascinating conversation, Yvonne. I
Oh,
could,
yeah.
talk on this topic all day. Um, and I think
Me too. Me
it's just
too.
it's to bring this into awareness, like you say, for our audience,
Right.
and maybe ask them, what is it that you've learned from this conversation? What are the things that you feel that you need help in, and to reach out to us if they need more support.
Sure. Absolutely. I mean, I think that's it's we sometimes things come, like, everyone's here listening to this because of something that made them feel like they wanted to learn something, and or there's an area of opportunity, and so that's why we're here. And you and I both, I know, would welcome an opportunity to talk to someone one-to-one. Well, I'm also offering some group meetings if you wanna come and join and just see what is possible for you when it comes to both your love and relationships and your career. So
Yeah,
awesome, Neela.
I think it's
Always, always just a joy and a pleasure to be with you. Your spirit is simply amazing, and I value our time, but also I know how valuable you are with all of your clients. So it's really great.
Thank you so much. And I'm just going to say the same. I echo it, even though we're kind of in different countries and locations, I think it's so wonderful when you connect with people, on that level. And that's why I'm saying, even if you are in a job or, you've got in a career, maybe you've got a relationship, maybe you haven't, it's really important as well to build those connections, with like-minded people. And it's all
Yes.
about collaboration, isn't it? So
Yes,
um,
absolutely. Mhm.
yeah, so thank you
Absolutely.
very much as well.